Hey, Archery Talk, this is Lucas, and tonight I've got another new bow for the 2025 shootout coming up. This is from Xpedition Archery. I think this is going to be the new Xlite 32. Let's open it up and have a look. Let me just get my trusty pocket knife out. All right. Here's the new bow. Now last year, Xpedition sent me their Xlite 29, which was in this kind of very tanned Cerakote finish, which looked fantastic. And I was actually grateful to get a different color this year because all of my press bows, it feels like, have been that same kind of color this year. So this one is, I don't know if you want to call this a slate gray or a black, but looks fantastic in person. Specs wise, as you might expect, this bow has a 32-inch axle to axle. It's got a brace height of 6 inches. And it's got a rated speed of 342 feet per second. We're going to check that out in a little while once I get it set up. If a couple of new things here. One, this still got the Magnite riser. That's kind of Xpedition's proprietary material. This is 30% lighter than aluminum. This bow has a listed weight of 3.8 pounds, so 30% lighter than aluminum. Very similar weight to carbon, maybe even lighter than some carbon bows. It's supposed to be 3 times the vibration dampening as aluminum and 20 times as carbon. Again, I don't know if I'm ever going to feel those. It's hard to say how that's going to equate to real life feel, but in the past I've not had any issues with vibration on these bows. Xpedition has updated the vibration dampeners this year. So we got one at the top here, a little one, another one at the bottom down there, and we have one at the front here as well. And so lots of vibration dampening built into the bow. New this year as well is a Picatinny sight mount system. So they've also got an integrated arrow rest. Basically all of the things you would expect to see from a modern compound bow. And again, fit and finish for me, Xpedition, the last couple of years. Since this whole Xlite series came out, the fit and finish has been fantastic. I think these bows are slick looking. Now my job is going to be to set this bow up. We've got the new XB32 cam on here. I shot this at the ATA show. I liked it quite a bit at the show. I'm very eager to get it all set up and put some arrows through today when I get this thing perfectly set up to my draw length and my draw weight. So I'm going to go do that now, and I will come back and we'll talk about how it shoots. I'll run it through the chronograph, and we'll talk draw cycle, all in just a minute. All right, the Xlite 32 is set up and ready to go. And of the 4 bows I've brought in so far for the 2025 Archery Talk Hunting Bow Shootout, I would think that this has been the easiest one to set up so far. Everything went exactly according to plan. There were no delays with anything at all. I put the rest on, I eyeballed it, and then I started shooting it, and it was shooting how I wanted to shoot it. It was arrows running perfectly straight. Love that. The sight was probably the one issue I had. Just the windage was off just because it was on another bow previously, but that's not obviously any fault of this bow. When I put it in the draw board, the stops were hitting at exactly the same time right out of the box. I can count on one hand the amount of times that's happened in the last 30 or 40 bows I've shot. That is just not a thing that occurs. And yeah, basically everything was set up in no time. As fast as I can set up a bow, it went swimmingly today. So really happy with that one. And I'll also say the bow is a fantastic bow to shoot. I'm really enjoying how this bow feels on the draw. And with that in mind, a few minutes ago, I shot a video kind of walking you guys through the draw cycle of the new Xlite 32. So let's get to that right now. So as I've mentioned in many videos, draw cycle is kind of factor number 1 for me when deciding what bow I want to shoot, what bow I like to shoot. And I shot the Xlite 32 at the ATA show and was immediately drawn to it because it felt like a different draw than the Xlite 29 I had last year. It was just a smoother draw and just more comfortable for me at least. But that's at the ATA show. It's not my draw length. I don't know what draw weights it are, so you never know. So I brought this one here today. I got it all set up, as I mentioned. And I have this measuring in now at 70 pounds on the button. But when I first took this out of the box and got it set up, I drew it back, and it was a nice easy draw, and it was 72.5 pounds. So I took a little bit more than a half a turn out of these limbs to get it down to 70, and the result is a really, really nice drawing bow. It's so linear to me. There is no hump in the valley at all. It's a straight pull back to the wall. The wall feels nice. It's cable stops, not limb stops. I'm a cable stop fan, just because I like how it feels when I'm pulling through a shot a little better than limb stops personally. But the smoothness of the draw is what gets me. I love a draw with no hump. It's like a lot of Matthews bows I've shot in the past with that cross-centric cam system felt like that, and this feels the same way. After the shot, the bow feels fantastic in the hand. Zero vibration as far as I can tell. It seems pretty quiet all told. At some point I'll try to get all the bows together this year and kind of test them for noise with a decibel reader or something like that. But at least by ear, this bow feels great. The only thing I'm left questioning is the rated speed on this bow. This was, I believe, the fastest rated speed of any of the Xlite bows at 342. And I'm dubious of that number because the draw cycle feels way too good. God, even letting it down if you're paying attention is not too bad. Again, like any compound bow, if you're not kind of pulling down with the bow, it can get away from you. But overall, it's a fantastic drawing bow. Easily my favorite Xpedition I've shot as far as like the draw and the hold on this bow. 32 inches axle to axle, feels nice and stable in the hand. It tuned and set up so fast tonight, and my goodness, does it draw nice. So let's talk speed. This bow, at least advertising-wise, is the fastest bow in Xpedition's Xlite lineup at 342 feet per second of rated speed. However, this bow, as I mentioned in that draw cycle video, it draws way too nice to be that fast. And I'm right. I have this bow set up at 70 pounds exactly of draw weight, and I will say it is 30 inches to the millimeter on the draw board. Again, right out of the box, I was so happy with how easily and to spec everything was on this bow. And so it's as close to IBO spec as I can get outside of having a D-loop and a peep on the string. And with a 350 grain arrow, I saw speeds of 323, 322, and 323 feet per second. That is now 19 below its advertised speed, but I can't say I'm not surprised just because the draw feels too nice for a bow at 342 feet per second. I just shot the Bowtech 2 weeks ago in a video, and that one felt like a bow that was 340 feet per second, and that's because it was. This bow doesn't feel like that. You can't hide speed, and this bow just draws too bloody nice to be that fast. With a heavier 455 grain arrow, which is the arrow, it's my hunting arrow weight, I saw speeds of 286 feet per second every time I shot it. And honestly, that's the speeds I'm looking for when I'm using broadheads. Again, your mileage may vary. Some people really want a lot more speed, and I get that. I think there are other Xpeditions that'll give you a little more speed, despite the fact that this one has the highest rated speed number. And also keep in mind, I'm in the second longest draw setting on this at 30 inches. There's a 30.5 inch draw setting. And so this is all pretty close to as aggressive as this bow is going to feel, and it still felt fantastic. So and that's why I'm not super bothered by the speed numbers. Yes, I would like to see all the manufacturers maybe be a little more realistic with the numbers they put on the box. That's not a shot at Xpedition. That is, I've tested 4 bows this year, and 3 of them were a whole bunch off their advertised number. And so this is just one in the mix. And I suspect some of the other bows I'm going to get in will do the same. That's kind of the life of this industry. Again, I would love to see it if they called this one 330 out of the box, but you know, the marketing reasons, they've got their reasons for calling it 342, and maybe they're getting better speeds than I am. This bow, again, it draws so smooth. I can't imagine anyone's going to get 342 out of this, but I really hope someone does. If they do, I like to see that video. Bottom line, I think Xpedition has hit a home run with the Xlite 32. I have shot 3 or 4 of those Xlite bows so far now. I've had in for long-term testing, and this one, in the early going, is my favorite, bar none. I'm loving this dark color on here. The only downside for me is this color, I think, shows imperfections maybe more than the lighter colors do. It's better at hiding things like kind of smudges and dirt. But you know, if there's maybe a little tick on one of the limbs and a little scratch on some of the cerakoted finished parts of here. really minor stuff. I'm just kind of picking nits here because, you know, this is a flagship level bow. This is a bow that's got an MSRP of $1,900. And so, you know, you want a bow like that to be as close to perfect as you can. And so there, you know, I'll point out the small things, but those are not things I would complain about if I own the bow, because, you know, it's a hunting bow. It's going to get knocked around. It's going to get knocked around in your bag. It's going to get knocked around in the bush. So, you know, take that for what you will. But, you know, overall, though, I'm thrilled with everything going on with this bow. I didn't mention that there are 2 grips available with this bow coming in the box. There's a 17 and a 19 degree. I've not sold on which one I'm going to use right now. I've got the 17 in at the time being, but I may switch that out for a slightly more aggressive angle, depending on what I'm feeling on a specific day. Other than that, again, this bow has, it looks like a rotating mod system in there. This is the long draw mod on here that goes 30.5 down to 30, 29.5, and 29. And then there's the box also comes with the shorter draw, the standard mods that go all the way down to 25 inches of draw length. So this will fit a lot of archers. And if you're interested in learning more, head over to Xpedition's website to check it out for yourself. That's it for now, Archery Talk. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel an awful lot, and we'll see you soon.